You have to also admit that there has been some criticisms, though, of the way the sector is. I know that one prominent analyst has said that the housing bubble will burst at some point. Some people have talked about if you give out more than 100,000 house lots with a population of 730 something thousand or thereabouts, how many people are getting the house lots? What do
Yeah.
you say to those people?
Well, I believe there will always be need for housing. That is why we got to also start thinking about new forms of housing, about apartment buildings, and you see some private investors are going in that direction already, building because land, of course, it's limited, but you always will need housing. Why? Because if you give out 100,000 house lots, and you say one family with 4 people, you have that's about 400,000 people benefit from that. But that's a family with, let's say, 2 children. But the children are growing up. They need their own home. They want more and more young people want their own home. I know that things have changed a lot. I remember my own experience. I did not get my own home until I was 48 years old. But recently I went to the West Demerara at one of the one-stop shop operation the Ministry of Housing had. And met many people who were 24 and 26 years old having their own homes, which is an extremely good thing for them to have their own homes at this time. Therefore, therefore, housing will be an issue that will always be there. That because you have a growing population, you have a young population, and people more and more going in their homes, starting new families and so forth. So it's a situation where you will constantly need to have housing, and we have to constantly think about what's the best way to go. Maybe we have to start thinking, as I mentioned, some private sector people going into more apartment buildings. Government has been going into other areas, like not only in the coastal areas where the housing problem was more acute, but in the interior we were going to core homes, helping people to have better quality homes, better standard of living, and encouraging people to live where you can provide more and more services to them. I myself went to 2 of those areas. There are much more, but I went to Whitewater in the Northwest District, and I went to Quatamang in the Rupununi area, where people were now having much beautiful homes built from the materials of the area. In Whitewater, most of the houses were wooden houses from the materials in the area there, where they had a really good organization of cooperation of people among themselves, together with the Ministry of Housing and people owning their own homes. And in the Rupununi area, using the materials, the clay bricks and so forth, to also build very beautiful houses there. So that, you see how many jobs it can spin off? The brick builders, many people get employment in those areas. So that's an area I think they will always need. I don't see the danger that we have here in about people talking about the housing bubble will burst and so forth. That was because in North America, very one of those developed economies where people were using housing as speculation and so forth. We are not doing that in our society. We are providing to people with real needs in our society.
All right.